Well, again, it's unconscionable at a time in which so many working people and poor people need government to show up for them, that this administration, the Trump administration, has caused so much consternation and division. Look, we are a welcoming city ordinance. Our local police department will not ever cooperate with ICE. Whatever their constitutional authority is, that is obviously relegated to the Trump administration. All of our sister agencies, city departments, have been thoroughly briefed by a corporate counsel, and I'll pass it over to her in a second, about what they can and cannot do. Mary?
My mayor seems to be sick. I've been checking him out lately. He seems to be like he's losing weight, doesn't look the same. I'll pray for him. But people, I have a mayor here in Chicago that is more bent on the rights and the continual goals and objectives of illegals and paying for them from head to toe, as opposed to cooperating with the president. Now, we're divided here in America. We're divided here in Chicago as well. As a black person, I have sound off on this thing in that many black people, we're not against the immigrants. We're against having money taken that can be utilized for us, for our resources. See, people, if you don't know Chicago, you don't know how economically we have been hurt. We have hospitals that have been closed in our neighborhoods. We have businesses which have been closed in our neighborhoods because of crime and other issues. We have had mental health clinics under the other mayor, Rahm Emanuel. Did I mention schools? Schools closed. And now some of the schools, get this, some of the schools have been reopened for shelter for the illegals. And you know how it is. They're getting food, shelter, medical, schooling. And we're scratching our head as black people, and other people who stay here in Chicago are scratching their head like, wow, where'd all the money come from? Because when the people go to the city council meetings, they're always fighting over the budgets and how we're gonna do this and how we're gonna do that. But as soon as the illegals got here, boom, money just stopped, manna fell from heaven. And so now we are in a crisis. We have a shortfall, and it's been that way for quite a while. But the mayor is still resisting. I would say to the mayor, look, you're a black man. Understand that you were voted in by a well, I'll put it like this. He has probably the lowest rating of all the mayors in the 50 states. It's just that bad. And at that point, it's not just blacks. We're tired of it. And in my mind, it's about the one world system. They're never going to tell you. But nobody in their right mind would be elected and be that stubborn. Because then you would find a way to harmonize. What do I mean by harmonize? I've been saying it for a few weeks now. The illegals need to go to work. If they're going to stay, then you know what? You get with Trump and say, look, I got people that voted me in of all colors. And in a lot of these minority communities, we've been trying to answer this clarion call to put opportunities out there. They're not begging for bread. They just want opportunity and work programs and things like this. Got the gang violence and such. I'll meet you halfway, Trump. Negotiate with him. I think that's what leadership should do. And money that could go to poor whites, poor Latinos, poor blacks, you know what? That money could be placed in projects. When I say projects, create situations where money can be allocated for maybe a 2-year degree program, automotive, AC, barber college, technical, something. But right now we just, look, people, we're creating dependence, okay? And Chicago's not the only one. We're creating dependence. That's not what this American dream is about. When you come over here and you go through the system properly, what do? You go get a job. So what I am proposing is not far-fetched and it's not unrealistic. And Trump should be in the mix with this type of idea. But to me, it feels like the powers, they want to breed confrontation between the mayors versus Trump and the governors versus Trump. And I see through the game, people, so I'm about a solution. Sending them all back, okay, well, you're making a little bit of headway, that's what you say, you're rounding them up. But people, let's be clear. For every newscast that comes out saying they're sending them back with military police, because that's what they are, military police, like in LA the other day, I can show you 10 films during the Biden administration where they were flying them over here, busting them over here, and catching the train. And it was done real easy. Some of them even the water coming over at the border. Border security can tell you all the stories if they're allowed to speak freely, but you know they got over here by almost any means possible. So what's the problem with sending them back? You creating Alligator Island and Alcatraz and come on, man. They're playing. So my solution is they got to go to work. ASAP. They got to go to work. Get your hands out of my pocket. And the money needs to be cut off. They need to be acclimated inside. Put it in your, look. People, we are up against uncharted waters. We have never seen this many people brought or allowed, whatever, into our country in a short period of time. That's not an accident. Common sense would be, look, we gotta have a way to solve this. Because, again, like I said in my earlier video, while the world is exploding, we're imploding. Well, black world is imploding, and the crisis of taking care of them economically is exploding. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I went international to national. We got to start solving the problems. Because the resistance back and forth, good cop, bad cop, I'm this, I know the law, I'm not going to cooperate with you here as a mayor. My police are not going to cooperate with you. The resistance, that's not solving the problem. And I have the same conversation for Trump as well. Let's move forward. Now we back to the mayor of LA. I did a video on her today. Listen to this conversation about her possibly being arrested, standing up for illegals. Check this out.
There's been a lot of invective hurled at you by federal spokespeople from the administration. I want to just give you a chance to respond to a few things. So one of them was the spokesperson DHS had this to say about the possibility of arresting you. I'm not sure for what, but here's what she had to say.
of scenes like you did out in LA today, where you have the mayor, Karen Bass, interfering with official federal officer proceedings, trying to enforce the laws that are put on the books by members of duly elected members of Congress. Are you all hesitant to just go out and arrest her, or has all of this behavior not reached that threshold yet?
We're certainly keeping everything on the table, Charlie.
Your reaction to that, Mayor?
Well, they're going to arrest me for doing my job. I mean, as mayor, my number one responsibility is to keep Angelenos safe. Now, it never dawned on me that I would have to worry about keeping Angelenos safe from my own government, from military that are supposed to be overseas fighting foreign enemies, from the Custom and Border Patrol. We're about 2.5 hours away from a border, or from the National Guard that have been federalized unnecessarily. You know, this is an example of the federal government essentially seizing power from a governor. Federal
People, like I said before, it's good cop, bad cop. And I'm gonna show you a small clip from my video I did the other day. Now, listen to how she's couching this, okay? Because she's saying seizing power from her. People, that's the future. Do you understand? That's the future. And don't think these politicians don't know it. Okay? Don't think they don't know what the whole plan is. You talk about knocking down borders. Baby, it's deeper between Mexico and LA or any border crossing. You talking about knocking down all borders. Us just being one United States. You understand? That's what Canada is going through now. Think about it. Canada is going to be part of the United States. I believe there is a plan to knock down all the borders. How many songs have we heard over the decades? We are one. It's the new world order. And so, again, to make it happen, you got to have this resistance. You got to have the resistance. And you know, look, and if they demonstrate this thing about putting her in jail, all that's doing is making one group take a side versus another. But we still haven't solved the problem. I'm not hearing from Karen Bass, oh, you know what? Let's get together with the Attorney General and the Attorney Generals from around the United States, and let's get these people hired. Let's get them acclimated, because I don't have time for this. She and my mayor spend more time on this crap than they do on the citizens. Tell me how you feel.
Park is the latest thing of a massive immigration raid. Heavily armed federal agents on horseback and military vehicles descend. But as Lauren Diaz shows us, things ended differently this time.
By 11:10, there was tanks and all of this.
Do what he said? By what time?
By 11:10, there was.
By 11:10. There's that 11 again. And what he got on? Like the burgundy. See? Phoenician. What he got on his head? Like Phoenician, burgundy. He's got on the red and black.
Tanks and all of this. They got tanks all through here. They got the white vans. They got the trucks. They got all this.
About 10:30 Monday morning, heavily armored Border Patrol officers with a fleet of vehicles and some on horseback descended on MacArthur Park. This is the heart
MacArthur Park. Remember that.
of the immigrant community, just 2 miles from downtown LA. Sky Fox was overhead as the operation kicked in. Our Fox 11 photographers Sam Dubin on the ground, recording the dramatic scene. Immigration agents in military green carrying rifles. Neighbors and community activists rushed to the...
Look at those weapons, people. This is for us. They couldn't do it the regular way, so they had to bring the illegals to show us the military that they're going to be using on us in the future, in my humble opinion. This is the 1984. This is what they're planning. You understand? And I'm going to show you what you're looking at, okay? Now, pay attention to this video. You're going to see the mayor. There's like your burgundy almost. And she got on Tiffany blue. All this is on purpose. And look at this weapon. Isn't that ridiculous? Now, I want to show you on here, I want you to see the Homeland Security guy and what's on his head. He's so out of place, you have to decode it. Watch this.
Compounded semaglutide is not...
So we'll go back into it momentarily. Okay, here we go. And to me, these other people who are hollering, those people were put there on purpose. To me, allegedly, they're paid actors to show confrontation, okay? Listen. As you can see, he's got on a cowboy hat. Now, does he not stick out? Everybody else got on military gear. Why does he have on a cowboy hat? This is what you have to ask yourself when you decode, okay? And then the person that's with her, probably security, he's got on like the checkerboard tie. But look, there's a cowboy hat. I'm gonna decode that for you. Now watch this here. They were in Douglas MacArthur Park, all right? Right, you know him, famous guy back in the day. He died at 84 years old. Barack Obama was born August 4th. Is that a coincidence? They were in Douglas MacArthur Park in LA, 84. Barack Obama was born August 4th. Now look at this here. This guy's death date is April 5th. Who's the 45th president? Oh, that's Trump. Born January 26th, so let's go there. January 26, 2025, 7/7/2025, they're there. The difference is 5/14. What is 5/14? I said, what is 5/14? What if I told you 5/14 is the country he represents? It's Israel. Israel was born on 5/14. Do you understand the connection? Fake news. Fake news. 7/7 is when this incident happened. 1/26. The man's birthday of the park comes out to Israel, 5/14. What else we got? Here's the mayor, that's her birthday, October 3rd. Take October 3rd, 7/7, the event happened. The difference is 88. Whose text number is 88022? Trump. Who erected 2 flagpoles 88 feet high? Trump. Who said we got $88 billion 3 weeks ago from tariffs? Trump. 88, is that coincidence? Then look at this. Fake news. I can go on and on. And like I said, she got on what? She got on like her Tiffany blue. He's got on a cowboy hat, right? And then she goes and interviews with this on. It's not purple, but like I said, it's going to be similar colors, people. They speak with the purple and they speak with the blue. So that's pink, but hey, I'm just saying. Understand what's going on. Now, I want to show you something else before I forget. When she first walked up and they had the cameras, I believe they do future past. Look straight ahead. What do you see? And my first decode was 5/14, which is the day that Israel became a nation. Okay? Was this done on purpose like this? To show this background? What does that remind you of? What does it remind you of? Twin Towers, New York. Do you understand? I'm just saying, look at that. Makes you want to think. Now, I might do something this year. Every now and then I buried old hatchets because I'm about change for the betterment of the people. And many of you guys have asked me, should I get into politics? Well, I might have an opportunity to be a part of something. Reverend Jesse Jackson's son, Jesse Jr., is contemplating getting into politics again. You know, he went out years ago, went to prison, did some bad things, but hey, God gives grace. I know that Jesse's like the back of my hand. My mother worked for Jesse Jackson back in the day. I've told you that story. And I worked under him through my godmother, the late Reverend Willie Barrow. We didn't agree on everything, but he allowed me to be youth minister during the day. And I used to speak there every Saturday back in the day, back at Operation Push. I know his family, they know me, they'll remember me, they know my mom, people know me. But I haven't been in politics in a while, haven't been in social functions in a while. But check this out.
Jesse Jackson Jr. says he's testing the waters by talking to residents and certain community leaders. Sources say that he was approached by some longtime supporters to give it another try. Run, Jesse, run. That is what supporters of Jesse Jackson Jr. are encouraging him to do. The former 2nd District Congressman is mulling over a bid for his old seat, one he held for 17 years before pleading guilty to a federal campaign finance violation that landed Jackson in prison.
He served his time, he paid his dues, and I think the time is right for him to re-enter Congress. There have been a lot of political changes since he was in Congress.
Indigo Media's Hermine Hartman is one of several people, including former Chicago Congressman Bobby Rush, who is pushing Jackson to run. His old seat is currently held by Congresswoman Robin Kelly. She is running for U.S. Senate, leaving the race wide open.
He knows how to cross the aisle. He knows how to be persuasive. He knows the...
So yeah, he's doing exploratory committee. His brother Jonathan he won, so he's in politics. And Jesse Jr. has a chance to get back up in there. If he decides, I might run to try to talk to him. What are my issues? What I just explained to you about the immigrants. I want money back in the black community. I'm tired of gangs. I'm tired of homelessness. I'm tired of lack of opportunity. My heart bleeds seeing us go down. We need a vision for the moment. In politics, you compromise. And I think for him to get elected, some of my ideas might help him. We'll see. Let me know in the chat what you feel. But hey, I might, who knows, I might get involved with him or whoever peaks to get that seat. God bless America.